When Greedon was first revealed without the skill, I had a feeling that it was gonna be like end of stage because the description really fits perfectly to what he does. And to be honest, I wasn't really surprised that we got exactly what we were expecting. Hi guys, and welcome to the circus. So today we're gonna be covering the new reveals for Dark States. So we got our boy Greedon finally revealed, finally after all this time. I mean, it's not really that long since we got the artwork first, but still it's already been a hot minute since the last time we talked about Greedon. So first, before we talk about Greedon, let us first take a look at the whole ride line first. So first we have this new starter, which is Desire Devil Taida. So it's just a typical starter where you draw when you go second, but the artwork is just so good. When I first saw the artwork of this card, I immediately fell in love because it's really good. I was immediately convinced that I will be running this as much as I can because look at this guy, it's so cute. What's wrong with a cute little devil, right? It's actually good that we don't have a ride line yet that requires a certain starter. So if you want this artwork, you can run this in all your Dark States decks, which is what I'm gonna do personally because it's really cute. So next, let's move on to the grade 1, which is Desire Devil Goleman. So the skills are auto when this unit is rode upon by Desire Devil Boshoku, which is the grade 2. Cost, reveal an avaricious demonic dragon Greedon from your ride deck and draw a card. So it's a free plus if you have Greedon as your ride line. Any form of plus in any Dark States deck is going to be really appreciated. And the second skill is when this unit is put from rearguard circle into your soul by your Vanguard's ability, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost Counterblast 1, and until the end of the turn, when your opponent would call cards from hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 2 or more at the same time. So it's a Battledore skill for the entire turn, and for the rest of your units. What's interesting about this card is that it's a generic card. It's a good support for Baromagnes, and the Counterblast isn't really that much of an issue, because of how much countercharging we have. So in Dark States as a whole in Standard, as long as we have a Vanguard that scoops a unit from the field to the soul, we can make this card active, which is obviously really good. In Baromagnes, this works perfectly with him because after you call the 2 cards from your soul using your 15 soul skill, and you have this on your board before you use that skill, if you have spare CB, I mean you almost always have spare CB because of how much countercharging you have, you can make your last 3 attacks have Battledore, which is really nice. Especially with Baromagnes that swings with a crit, your opponent most likely will commit a PG to that, so it rips out 1 more card from hand. When they have less than 2 cards in hand, can deny the grade 1 PG skill to an extent. This grade 1 alone is really good for the entire Dark States. And now let's move on to the grade 2, which is Desire Devil Boshoku. So the skills are, when this unit is rode upon by Greedon, cost, put a card from your hand into the soul, search your deck for a card with the same name as this card, reveal it, and put it in your hand and shuffle your deck. So it's a form of plus to your hand. No, it's like a cycle card instead. But what makes this skill really worth it to do is the continuous skill, which is inside the soul. During your turn, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards, which is limit break in a way, the avaricious demonic dragon Greedon on your Vanguard circle gets power 5k. First of all, this skill stacks. So if you have a maximum of 4 copies of this card in the soul, your Greedon on your turn will instantly get plus 20k alone. So with this alone, your Vanguard's power is already really big. But what's the sense of having a bunch of power without that much pressure, right? Well, to see the applications of this continuous skill, let's now take a look at Greedon. So we have Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon. So continuous on Vanguard Circle. If your soul has the same copy of this card, which is Greedon, the number of cards in your damage zone for you to lose becomes 7. Okay, so this is pretty interesting because the previous revealed supports for Dark States has a certain threshold where it needs 7 soul. So it somewhat matches the aesthetics at some point, but that's not the main purpose of this skill. At the end of the battle, this unit attack costs Soul Blast 2 cards, put 4 standing rearguards into your soul, and stand this unit. If your soul has 10 or more cards, this unit gets power plus 15,000 until the end of the turn. Yeah. So as I said before, we were expecting this card to be like Gun Salute End of Stage in V-Series, which is exactly what we got because it's a restanding Vanguard without minus drives, by the way. He gets a lot of power if you have a certain soul, and a bunch of Boshokus in this soul as well adds up to more power. So having two Vanguard swings with a bunch of power and twin drive every single attack is just amazing. One thing to note here is that this card isn't once per turn. And note that Greedon will still receive supports from DBT03 aside from these cards. So if somehow we get a skill in Dark States that calls out cards from your soul during the battle phase that can work with Greedon, you can possibly restand a bunch of times with this deck. At least possibly restand twice for 3 Vanguard swings. But I guess that would be kinda broken, or at least too strong in this series just yet. But who knows, right? Power creep is inevitable, so it might just happen. So far, this deck can put out 3 attacks overall, which is 2 Vanguard swings and 1 big rear guard. Because if you have 5 rear guards overall on your board, you can scoop in the 4 rear guards and leave 1 front row in order to put a lot of trigger power on that unit if you want to, in order to have 3 attacks overall, but 2 Vanguard swings with Twin Drive. This is also the first Dark States deck that we have right now that doesn't output a maximum of 5 attacks per turn, at least just yet, like I mentioned before. But having 2 Vanguard swings with Twin Drive on both attacks is arguably better than 5 attacks. Arguably. It depends on the situation, because you can still at least PG this guy. It is certainly very strong as I see. As it is right now, it's already quite playable, but let's see what happens with the new supports that we'll get in the next couple of weeks, I guess. And there we can possibly see the full power of this deck. Personally, I am really excited to see it because this is one of the most unique Dark States decks that I can play, that I really want to play, because Greedon is just a very cool unit overall. I mean, who doesn't like a Mafia Dragon, right? Now, a little bit of talk about Premium. I know, this is weird, right? Because I don't know much about Premium, but I'm talking about it now. But the moment this card's skill was revealed, and we saw that this isn't a once per turn skill, in Premium, this can actually be really, really strong in the right clan. I think everybody's been talking about it now and making a lot of theories around this card now. In our Discord, we are already talking about how to make this work in Premium. And so far as I see, this is gonna be a really fun deck in Premium. I don't know if it's really, really strong, but I know it's definitely really fun to play. I don't know if it's consistent. I don't know if it's like a meta defining. But regardless, the fact that this card is playable in Premium and it's actually quite decent, it's already good enough reason for me to play this card. If I can come up with a combo in Premium soon, I might make a video about it. If not, I won't, because again, I don't know much about Premium just yet. I'm still learning the format as of now. But if you guys want to suggest something to me about this, just leave it down in the comments below. So yeah, that's about it for this week's stream. This was the only unit that I was really interested in looking at the moment that Sat 3 was announced. But not gonna lie, I'm also interested in playing Gravitea because it's a really weird deck. It is a really unique deck. The supports for her is actually quite interesting to play with, and if I happen to have the chance to do so, why not, right? I'll grab the opportunity. Overall, Goleman is one of the MVPs here in this ride line because it's the first generic card of Dark States that has Battledore for the entire turn, unlike Shimone and the other Battledore units. Boshoku makes your Vanguard very, very powerful, and it enables that little bit of spice where you need 4 damage overall, which is like a pseudo limit break of some sort. Greedon is an amazing unit. I was really excited to see this, and we were not disappointed. If you guys have some ideas you want to share, just leave it down in the comments below. If you guys have some questions as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.